Oh, man, you really built that bad boy out. You ain't fucking around.
Never.
Welcome to the No-Budget Filmmaking Podcast, presented by Cinema Summit, a podcast about the art of making films, no matter how small the budget. And now, here are your hosts, Alex Darke and Trevor L. Nelson.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. This is episode 49 of the No-Budget Filmmaking Podcast. I'm Alex Darke.
And I am Trevor L. Nelson, and today we're going to be talking about marketing your film once it's complete. But first, what are we drinking, Alex? Did we just blow their minds and change it up?
We did.
Oh my God.
I think. We have some vodka sodas.
Vodka sodies. I don't know
Tito's.
if we blew their mind, but we did switch it up. A little Tito's and a little deliciousness. So yeah, some vodka sodies. Delicious, a little lime in there.
Tito's, we're still waiting for our case of vodka.
Yeah, Tito's.
For our next round.
If you give us a case of vodka every month,
Yeah.
we'll put your name in the front of every. That's all we'll drink on the podcast.
Yes.
I will guarantee you that's all we will drink.
Absolutely.
I have no problem with that at all because it's delicious and so smooth. But yeah, Tito's, hit us up at.
They're like, why would we ever do that? You keep talking about us
for free.
For free.
Tito, let's be honest. A case of vodka for you is basically free. Yeah, but yeah, just send us an email at info@cinemasummit.com. Or
That's not a real email address.
no, it isn't. I didn't want to give out a real one.
Yeah, for all our fans, all our lunatic fans. Okay.
All right. That's
What's
enough of that.
new, Trevor?
What's new? So we have been talking about projects we're doing. They all come and go. We give updates. That means that we aren't really doing anything and everything sucks. And well, guess what? We have another update on our package of movies that we're doing, our slate, and we have a meeting. We have a meeting. We don't want to talk about who it's for or who it's with.
No, because we don't want to jinx it.
We don't want to jinx it, and we don't want to put anything out there until it's signed, sealed, and delivered. But we have a meeting next Friday. Friday, actually.
Just a general meeting, so don't get too excited, people.
Oh crap! Are you talking to me too?
Yeah, you too.
Damn it! We're super excited.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think it'll be good.
Hey, you know what? The biggest thing is that it's a meeting. We talk to them. They know who we are. You never know where it could lead. It may not lead to our slate being made or a movie being made, but it may lead to something else. You never know.
That's true.
So never say no to a general meeting. Get yourself out there. Say hi to people. All that fun stuff.
Yeah. If nothing else, it's kind of just inspiring to be like, oh, yeah, we should just reach out to more people.
Yeah, the worst they could say is no, or they could say yes, like these ones did.
Yeah.
Of course, we hit up the Larry name, and that helped.
We had some direct connections, which
Yep.
was always helpful.
Always helpful.
It was a warm email as opposed to a cold email, as they say.
As they say in the biz. But yeah, so...
Let's see. Other than that, we have our sale still going on of equipment, and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's not too bad. We kind of hit a lull because it's been online for a while, and some people aren't finding it, so we're boosting it and all that stuff. But
it's also, I feel like it's partly like willed by myself to slow, because it's so consuming.
Oh, it can be. It can take up your life.
So I haven't been super active at the moment trying to get people to come in and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we have some people who are interested in stuff that I think we need to definitely hit up. The guy about the Chapman.
Yeah.
The lady over at Pocket Watch who might be looking for some info.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. So we're not as active as we should be. We'll get there. We'll get back into it. We just have been busy getting this thing ready and getting ready for our meeting. So everything, when you have a regular job, like a very frequent job, a constant gig, things go to the wayside.
It's a whole juggling extravaganza trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, when I say constant gig, I say marriage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that is also what we're doing. We're still pushing our stuff. We got rid of some other stuff as well. Our friend Nooch, who lives in my building, I met him through the dog park. He's an actor. He actually moved to New York and gave us a bunch of his furniture.
Yeah, and then he came home and was like, back. I want that back. And I was like, yes, take it.
Please. So yes, we we kind of gave it back to him willingly because it really opened up our office area of our studio. And we gave him back his couch, which we weren't really using that much.
Did we buy those pillows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought those pillows, so I'm going to keep them there and put them on our little seats here so we get took us comfortable.
Our butts cushioned.
Yep, exactly. So, so he took his stuff back, opened up the office. Now we have even more room. It's
nice. It feels, I don't know, feels good.
Feels big. Feels bigger.
Yeah, I feel that way about the studio too.
Yeah.
Now that we've sold a bunch, it just kind of opens up. I mean, there's still so much left to sell, it seems, but it's moving out.
Yeah, and
seeing it progress.
And as we get more and more stuff gone, we'll reorganize our equipment cage, with the hope that we get some rockin' new organization in here, and things are just streamlined, and we have even more room.
Yep.
So that's the plan. Our cage is kind of empty right now because everything we want to sell is out, and everything that we're keeping is kind of out as well. Scattered about, not organized, except for our expensive stuff, which is in the cage. So
yeah,
we're not going to tell you our address because we have expensive stuff and we don't want you coming and ripping us off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so shut up. Okay, so on to the main topic. Oh, no, wait, there's one other thing. Alex, would you like to?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really a thing, I guess.
It's a thing.
It's new.
It's new. Hey, take it.
I had a meeting, another meeting, with the VP of Aura Media, Larry's company.
Interesting. Okay.
Where I pitched myself as a, sort of an acquisitions person for them because they're a digital company that goes out and sells content. Mm-hmm. I was formerly an acquisitions person for international sales and distribution.
Oh, you don't say.
So it made sense to me, and they don't currently have an acquisitions person, so they're just like selling what they already have. And I thought, well, why don't you try to go out and acquire new shows and content that's already finished, and act as sort of a salesperson, agent, and do that whole thing.
Almost like you have experience in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost, not much, but
so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
got a meeting with the CEO.
You meeting with him, or is the VP just meeting with him and talking with him?
Well, it depends on what day the CEO ends up coming because I'm going out of town next week.
Yeah, it's a tough one because the CEO is kind of
he comes and goes.
Comes and goes as he pleases.
You never really know.
Yeah, he's an enigma. So, yes. So, So we got the we got that, and that's about it for what's new.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I'm pretty stoked for this meeting. I don't know if this meeting is going to hit by the time we record our next podcast. It won't. It won't actually.
It won't
because we're going to have to record one before you go out of town.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't die anyway, really. Hopefully.
That's true. Never mind. But 2 podcasts from now, we'll be able to let you guys know how it went. And if we never do a podcast again, that means
it went really well.
Went really well, and we have no desire to talk to you guys anymore. So
we can't make this podcast anymore because we now have budgets.
Now we have budgets, and everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
Everything's so expensive to do because we have time is money, people.
Yep.
Time is money. All right, let's talk about the subject at hand, which is film marketing.
Marketing your film, as it were.
Yeah. Thank you. I was worried. I was slightly confused. That being said, you finished your film. Now you want to get it out in the world. And this is for those people who kind of did their film the no-budget way, which they didn't have distribution set up, or they didn't have a sales agent, or they didn't do pre-sales. Yeah. And now they just want to know, how can they get as many people as they possibly can to watch their movie?
Yes.
And
it's a mad world out there these days because there is so much competition. You're not only competing with films.
Yes.
You're competing with every piece of video content and content in general because, there's just so much. It's like...
There is.
And also,
all this stupid stuff out there.
How do you compete with a bunch of kids dunking soccer balls into trash cans?
That's Alex's favorite analogy because he thinks that kids knocking... it reminds me of The Simpsons film school the film school, film. They had a film contest. They had a film festival, and Barney did this one that was beautiful and like beautifully shot. It's it's like his life as an alcoholic, and it ends with him laying on the curb like with a rose in his hand, and he drops to the side of his head, and he says, "Don't cry for me, I'm already dead." And Mr. Burns actually wins the competition because he pays off everybody, and Homer wants a man getting hit in the groin with football. And so that's the definition of right there. Man getting hit in the groin with football is the old school kids dunking
soccer balls
in trash cans. Alex's favorite subject.
It's true. It's true. It's just a testament to how little I know about The Simpsons, because I didn't know Barney was a real character.
Really?
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Barney, the one who always, like, looks like this. He's always oh, my God. Really?
Yeah, I've just never seen it, really.
He's the one who has, like,
Simpsons.
the Barney Gumball. I won't send it to you right now, but if you see him, you'll recognize him. He, like, has the drunk eyes, the gut hanging out, and he's always burping.
I didn't know you were a Simpsons character.
I hate you. I hate you so much. I wish I was. Life would be so much easier.
All right. So when it comes to marketing, there's some traditional things to consider.
Yeah, I mean, there's the old school tried and true method that people still stand by today.
Sure.
They still like it, and that's kind of getting a sales agent.
Yes, and that's not really marketing.
No, but they'll give you the marketing that you're looking for. Or am I wrong?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, fuck me then. Whatever.
So
I'm done. I'm not talking for the rest of this.
It's strange. So like a sales agent wants you to have the marketing done. In an ideal world. And then what they'll do, they want you to have like key art. Like a poster.
Yep. Makes sense.
They want you to have a trailer.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. And like behind the scenes,
that's huge.
Clips and like
they want BTS a lot,
stuff like that. But if you don't have good stuff, like if your trailer sucks, but the movie's good enough, or your poster sucks, they will do a new one and take it out of your. How much they have to recoup before you get money? Yes.
Yep.
So there's that, and. When the sales agents sell it to distributors, they're free to do whatever they want. Like they can take that key art, and use it, or more likely they'll do their own thing, and change the language and all that stuff. But so the sales agents have their marketing tools, but they're really just marketing
what you already have
to distributors. Yeah. Like they're not marketing to consumers.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. The funny story about that, like that distributors and sales agents will change it however they see fit. The movie we did, The Daughter.
Yes.
It was released internationally, and I was actually
in
Japan when it was a couple weeks, if not a little bit over a month away from the release in Japan, because I wanted to buy a couple copies in Japan and bring them home, but I couldn't. They had actually taken... So The Daughter takes place in one... Basically, the crux of the story takes place in one night.
Yeah.
In a house. And it's a thriller, but it's not as much action as one would believe.
Yeah, there's not really...
From the trailer.
I mean, there's some.
There's some, but it's a lot of, like, psychological, what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be a suspense.
Suspense thriller.
Yeah.
Out in Japan, they renamed it 3 Days.
Yeah, for an unknown reason.
And, like, the cover was, like, these guns a-blazing in, like, a big city.
Yeah, it was like a downtown...
It was like a downtown skyrise.
Like an explosion.
Yeah, explosion, and, like, everyone was having, like, holding guns in their hands, and it was like, well, this isn't the movie at all.
Not even close.
But they were free to do that because they wanted to market it. I don't know how it did in Japan, but, yeah, that's what they'll do with it.
Yeah, so that's a little bit different, although... I would say having key art, having trailers is good. I mean, you're going to want that no matter what.
Yeah, yep.
Because if you do end up putting it on a platform, like let's say you decide to self-distribute and you put it on like Amazon, right?
Yeah, you're going to need that anyway.
You're going to need a key art
You need a trailer.
Because that's literally the only thing that people are going to see and click. You know, like that's the deciding factor.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, if you have a good trailer, they're not going to see that trailer until they see your key art and then click on the trailer.
Right.
Now, okay, so let's talk about P&A budget because, again, this is your bread. This is kind of your wheelhouse more than it is mine.
Sure.
So where does the P&A budget come from? Is that just budgeted into your movie?
So it depends. I mean, if you
for those who don't know,
like,
P&A is print and advertising, so it is.
Right.
It is.
So the
P is what it sounds.
The piece only applies when you're doing theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, again, I think like P&A, it's like a theatrical term, really. So it doesn't really apply unless you're going to do like a self-distribution run or try to do like a platform release yourself.
Yeah.
In which case, you will want to set aside some budget because I think what a lot of people do in that scenario is they're like, okay, it's going to cost like $3,000 to four-wall a theater.
Yeah.
So that's doable. I can get a theater and put it in it.
Yeah.
It's great. But what they don't do is advertise it properly. And so
they get the theater, but nobody shows up.
They get the theater, but it's just like a friends and family screening, essentially.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to have a little bit of budget to do some advertising. You want to get it in like the newspapers, as weird as that sounds.
Get them in the trades.
Yeah. You're going to want to do online ads. You're going to want to do like PR for it and all that stuff to let people know that it's screening. Otherwise, that $3,000 will be a waste. And, you know, it might be anyway. It's one of those things where...
It might be anyway.
It's one of those things where... It's really a crapshoot with that type of thing.
It is.
And there's a reason that not a lot of movies compared to like how many are made get to theaters. It's because it just doesn't work out very well.
You have the blockbuster that is like theaters know they're going to make a lot of money on that, and then they're going to make a lot of concession money, and they're going to obviously choose that over your movie. So, and it's going to be hard to get your movie in theaters. And if you do get in one or two, it's going to be pushed. It's going to get the worst screening times because they want the money makers to have the prime time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, your four-wall plan is not going to make you money. I mean,
no,
it's really just sort of like an ego boost or like a publicity type thing. And with that in mind, I honestly think if you want to just do like a couple theaters, maybe just one theater, the platform we talked about in a previous podcast called Tug is the way to go. TUGG, I believe. So what they do is it's almost like a Kickstarter type mentality where they contact or they have the relationship with the theaters.
Yep.
They create a page for your film for that theater that you've selected, and they set a threshold. So it's like, let's say 80 people. And if you can get 80 people to pre-purchase tickets to your screening, then the screening will happen. And, you know, that's it. You don't have to pay anything. In fact, you get a little bit of that money.
Yeah.
So in my mind, that's way better. That's such a better option.
No money up front, no money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Do it.
And really, I mean, it's no worse than four-walling. It's not as good as like a real theatrical, you know, but it's a great option, I think. So when it comes to P&A, I don't think it's not necessarily something you really need to worry or should worry about.
Yeah.
Perhaps P&A would come into play if you were doing like a festival run and you needed to create prints of your film for festivals, and when you go to festivals, you also have to advertise those too. Otherwise, no one's going to show up to your screening.
Exactly.
So there is that. But
one thing that you will notice, and again, as we've said in past episodes, you know, you don't want to be a no-budget filmmaker forever. Most people want to, move up, get a little bit bigger budget, bigger reach with their films. What you'll see a lot of people doing now is they'll do limited releases with films that have potential but aren't the big blockbusters. So what they'll do is they'll release them in major cities like Los Angeles in a couple screens, and then New York in a couple screens, Chicago in a couple screens, maybe Austin in a couple screens. And what they'll do is they'll test to see. And a lot of people now will put up like, oh my gosh, this movie did, $250,000 in this weekend. Everyone's like, well, that's not that much. But then you realize that it was only in 10 screens.
Right.
And they're like, holy shit, that's actually good.
The per screen numbers are really good.
Yeah, per screen numbers are great. And then that will lead to, it's like a test run to see if there's enough interest in the bigger markets. And then they'll start rolling it out to nationwide, a little more screens and more screens and more screens. And that's what they tend to do now for ones that aren't like the Avengers or, Us, or things that don't have huge names behind them, or are maybe not, like maybe have a big name in it, but are not a subject matter that is widely regarded as a blockbuster moneymaker. Yeah. So you'll see that happen a lot more these days, and it's a limited release coming soon to a theater near you in wide release at this time.
Yeah, that's actually that's actually like what you would call a platform release.
All right,
standard platform release right there.
Yeah, this is why Alex is the professional.
If it was a limited release, usually, now sometimes limited releases turn into platform releases, but limited usually would be like, it's only playing in New York and LA.
Okay.
Or whatever,
All right. See, I
which
learn
is good
something
too.
new every day.
And those are, people do that for like awards and all sorts of weird reasons.
Netflix is doing it just so they can get into the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
But now they're buying the Egyptians so they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
And did you see they're putting $100 million into a production hub in New York?
Nice.
God, Netflix is just gonna rule us all.
I love how they're doing that after this. Like, I feel like just recently, the other day, I saw articles about how they were like, "Oh, our numbers are down," but they're just, "I'm gonna spend $100 million on them."
Because they're still what do we 18 billion they make a year?
More, it was like 20 something.
Yeah, 25. Oh, 25. I think you calculate 25 billion a year.
Because they're making
They're making a little bit over $2 billion a month.
Something like that.
Jesus.
Something crazy.
Yeah,
Stupid.
So. Okay, so that's the old school. That's old school way. You're hoping for like maybe
that's traditional.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like if you're going. If you.
I mean, that's not old school. That's still how they do it for things like Avengers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it may not be the best way for your movie. If you made a no budget movie, it doesn't check all the boxes that sales agents look for. You may not even get a sales agent, one.
Yeah. And
you may not even want a sales agent, two. It's like there's a lot of different things to consider. I think we talked about that in another episode.
I think so.
So
packaging your film, I think we talked about it.
Yeah, maybe check that out. But this episode, I think we're focusing mainly on.
You want to get it out to people, no matter how to do it.
You've made a film.
Yep.
And you're not going through those traditional realms, and you just want to have people see it.
Yep, that damn straight. Yep.
Or you're self-distributing and you want to sell it. So either you just want people to see it, you put it up on YouTube or Vimeo or something,
or you're just advertising the hell out of it. So somebody comes along and says, "I'd like to buy your film outright because I have a plan for it."
That too, or you're just trying to sell it on like Amazon.
Oh yeah, you're trying to sell VOD or rentals. Yes. Misheard that one. So the new age is kind of like social media is huge. It's all about the interwebs these days. One big one is Facebook and IG. They are a company that just wants to make money. So they will sell you ad space.
It's so easy.
So easy. And not only that, but the one good thing about like Facebook, even Google, is you could target it to the people you really want to see your movie and the people will probably check out your movie.
Yeah, and you don't pay for it unless they take action on it or see it or whatever.
Yep.
However you decide to pay for it, but that's sort of like a bonus that doesn't exist with other ad forms like magazine ads or something.
Yeah. If they don't click on your ad, you don't pay for it.
Yeah. So you're kind of paying per impression or per action.
Yeah.
And
great way to save money.
Yeah. And like Trevor said, there's a lot of really great targeting aspects you can do. So if you already have a list of emails, So maybe you like before you even started.
We'll get to this later.
Before you even started making your movie, maybe you like gathered emails of people who want to see it, or like are part of a group,
like a horror. Like let's just do what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
horror film. So
sure.
You go like a horror film fanatic, or people who really like Halloween or stuff like that.
So like, yeah, exactly. So let's say you're making like a creature movie or something, and there's another creature movie that's coming out that you think people that see that movie and like it might like your movie. So you decide you can like type in that movie's title and target people who have proclaimed their fanhood for that movie.
Yeah.
But if you have like I was saying, if you have a list of people, you can upload that. You can send ads directly to them, which is interesting. So it only goes to those people. So let's say you have a list of like, let's just say you have 100.
Perfect.
You can send out an ad to just those 100 people. But what's really cool is Facebook is smart enough, maybe, who knows? No one's checked this, but to look at your list of 100 people and say, okay, here's everything that they have in common. We're going to expand this and suggest people who fit within sort of like the model that we've created by analyzing your 100 people. Mm-hmm. And so they'll turn your 100 people into 1 million people.
Yeah.
Or 5 million people or whatever, So it's like it'll expand it, and it makes your ad costs go down because it's more specific. Mm-hmm. And it makes your ads more effective because theoretically, if your list is relevant, it finds relevant people.
Yeah.
So,
and make these companies work for their money. Make them do the heavy work. They've got the algorithms. They've got the search results. Let them do it, and you'll see that you're spending less money, as well as getting better results. You're getting the people that are more likely to click on your ad for your film. You're getting people who are more likely to watch your film when they click on your ad. And, I mean, it's just a lot smarter to go that way if you're trying to get people to look at your film and you really don't have that big of a budget.
And plus, I mean, there's just so much you can do with Facebook ads. It's kind of crazy. So they have these things called pixels. You can... So let's say, for example, you had your movie website, which had a trailer on it.
Yeah. Right? Trevor and Alex's horrormovie.com.
Yeah. So what you can do is put a pixel on your trailer website.
Okay.
So that when a person gets served your ad, Facebook will log the people that go to your page and view your trailer.
Yeah.
So then it like sets them aside in a new pile. And those are the people that actually clicked your ad and watched the trailer, or even like bought your thing. So like there's all sorts of different conversion tracking and stuff you can do. But you put these pixels on, so then you can target them even more. So it's like, okay, this person watched the trailer. They might be really interested in it. So maybe you'll want to send them another ad
when trailer 2 comes out.
When trailer 2 comes out, or when you're ready to sell the movie.
Yeah.
Or when the movie becomes available on, YouTube or whatever. Yeah. It's like you can retarget them is what it's called.
Yeah, yeah, which is super helpful. You want to just, and again, remember, if you're building these lists, you're building this amount of people that are coming to see your trailer and possibly buy or rent your movie, keep this list, because the next movie you already have a base list of people you can reach out to, especially if it's in the same genre, and you're like, hey, guess what? I have a new movie coming out. Here it is. This is all about, keeping your fans happy, and as you keep them happy, they're going to be more and more loyal, and they'll watch anything you throw at them. So if the fourth movie is something completely 180, completely different, they'll still follow you because they like your movies.
Yeah, but all your efforts from the past will be, beneficial.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the cool thing is like you do one thing, and maybe it doesn't perform as well as you'd like to. You do the second thing. And again, maybe, you get some like movement, but it's not as exciting. But like each time you're doing it, you're building up a bigger list, bigger following. People will start to know you.
Yeah.
And then over time, you will, create your audience, as it were.
Yeah. And one way to find that audience is Facebook is really good with groups. There's a group for everything. And not just on Facebook, but Reddit.
Sure.
All these like online communication hubs are a great, and Twitter have like hashtags. There are ways to get your link to your movie or information about your movie in front of the eyes of a ton of people. So find the horror groups on Facebook, join them. I mean, if you're a horror fan, you may already be a part of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to talk about the new ones that come out. I mean, we've talked about this on other episodes where we talked to was it
Jason Brubaker?
I think it was Jason Brubaker who said that there was a documentary where the guys, when they were starting to come up with the concept of it, joined the groups that it was about, and by the time they were finished with their documents, they were already a part of the community in a very organic and natural way. So when they like released their movie, these groups they were a part of and active in, make sure you're active, they welcome them with open arms and totally checked out their movie, and it did great just based on those groups.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's a good point. You don't necessarily want to just join groups and start blasting ads for your stuff because it'll get ignored. I mean, you have to become an active participant. It's not kind of like an easy way in, You should become an active participant too, because it'll just bring better people.
Well, and not only that, but like, this is going to sound really cliche, but film is a very group-oriented, like very, collaborative effort. So say you're writing your horror script and you're already in a horror group, you can throw ideas around. Say, hey, what do you guys think of this? Like, did you like this in movies? Like, that kind of stuff. And it'll improve your script right from the get-go, and then you're an active member, and then guess what? Hey, I got a movie out. And
not only that, but if you are active in the group along the entire way and say, hey, I'm doing this, what do you got? Do you guys like this costume or this costume? And you like get them involved so that they feel like they're part of the movie. And then by the time the movie rolls around, they're excited to see it.
I mean, that's the same thing that, I don't know if we ever talked about this. I have my college roommate, his brother, paid just a little bit. I think he pre-bought the DVD for Day After Tomorrow or something. I forget what it was. Or maybe Lord of the Rings. He pre-ordered it before the movie even came out in theaters. And by doing that, he was at the end credits that said, special thanks to, and all these people who had prepaid for something. And that's just a way to get people involved the way that you never thought. It's just, you're in this community of horror fans. It's like, hey, guys, if you pre-order my movie, I'll put you in the end credits of the DVD or of the quote-unquote digital file. And people are like, oh, shit, okay, that's kind of cool. I was interested in this anyway. That was just put them over the top.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also with Facebook specifically, they constantly, like, move through new technology and new things. So, like, live video isn't really new, but it's one of Facebook's current favorite things in their algorithm. So if you make a live video of yourself saying, hey guys, what's going on? And you can post it to your page or your groups or whatever, and you say, hey guys, and you add all your like hashtags and whatever.
35 hashtags.
So people can discover it. And you're just like, we're making this movie, we're getting started, we're on our first day tomorrow. We're just flying out people to, whatever. And you just like get people involved. You're talking live, and Facebook prioritizes those live videos over other content. So it'll be seen by more people. And if you continue, like, you might not see a huge number at first, but like if you keep doing it, Facebook will start serving it to more and more people as it starts realizing that a certain type of people are watching it and liking it and interacting and commenting. And so then it'll be like, okay, these people like this. I'm going to give it to more people like that. And then, it'll spread.
Because again, Facebook just wants to put ads in front of things. And so the more money they can make, they're just going to push it out even more. Now, we're going to talk about more about BTS and all that in the Guerrilla marketing.
Guerrilla Thriller.
Guerrilla Thriller. But, get somebody who is, maybe a PA or somebody who wants to kind of, be more involved in production, and get them to follow around people with, with the login for the movie on their Facebook and make them an admin, and then go like, if an actor is in a break, just say, hey, can I talk to you real quick on Facebook Live about the movie? And just do that kind of stuff. Any kind of engagement or active involvement on your movie that people can keep updated on is just, it can only help. It doesn't hurt you.
Yeah. And then even after the film's done, you can do crazy things like watch parties and groups and like all sorts of stuff. So
yeah. And not only that, but also YouTube now has a feature, and we talked about this earlier, and granted you need a certain amount of subscribers to do it, but you can premiere a video on YouTube, which means it goes live and plays immediately. So it's kind of like a viewing party.
Like an event.
It makes it like an event, and you can do that and be like, hey, you know what? All the people who followed me from day one, I'm going to give you a free screening of this movie as a premiere on YouTube, and it'll be a special invite. And check it out, and that's going to get people being like, okay, yeah, no, I'll support you. Yeah, of course. So there you go. So
then, I mean, we can't leave out Google, because Google has,
is the master.
It's one of the OGs of, ads and stuff.
Yep.
Online, and they have a great program, AdSense, AdWords, and all that, where you can basically do the same thing. You can buy ads. And your ads will show up across their whole entire ad network.
Yeah.
Based on your keywords and things that you put in. So if someone has a blog where they use Google AdWords, and they have just like a code that they stick in their site, and on the sidebar it just like automatically gives you ads that are relevant to the viewer. If they have a blog that's relevant to what you guys are selling, your ad could show up. You can do that type of thing.
Yeah.
But also, with Google, they own YouTube. And YouTube, you can do video ads in front of videos that are, relevant to you as well. So, again, like you can have your trailer played before movies. You can have a little clip or a video of you in front of the camera saying, hey, we just finished our movie. Check it out. Blah, 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 whatever. It's just like you create these ads in these videos, and you can get them in front of people, and like videos that have millions of views.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other thing. One thing that Google used to have back in the day,
date yourself.
I'm super sad that they got rid of it, because it was kind of cool. I mean, it was crazy. It's no shock to me that it didn't work. But they used to have a platform called Google TV Ads. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, I do.
So back in the day,
that's a blast from the past right there. Yeah.
You used to be able to go in with your commercial, your 30-second or 15-second commercial, or 60. I forget how many different like time slots they had. And you could actually buy television ad time in regions across the U.S.
And all depending on how much you were willing to pay.
Yeah, and it's basically just how their ads work online now, but with television. So you could actually like get your commercials on TV through Google, which was kind of crazy.
I cannot believe they used to offer that.
I know.
That was crazy.
And it was really competitive too, in terms of like how much you had to pay. So not only it was like crazy cheap. So obviously it didn't work. But, yeah. I hope they bring it back. It was kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they just thought that like their money is better spent because there's like streaming options now. It's just better spent on focusing it all on.
It's probably just way easier to implement when it's all online versus having to like
exactly
somehow get it to these TV networks that are probably still using tape commercials and weird stuff like that.
Oh God, and you have to send it in a certain format that is dumb, and oh my God, 15 different formats, and oh my God. Yeah, I've dealt with TV commercials, and it is a pain in the ass. So Google's another option, and again, pay-per-clicks, Facebook, Instagram, now Twitter's doing it. Google. This is all. It's cheaper for you because if nobody's interested, if the person's not interested in your product, they're not going to click on it. You don't pay.
But what happens is the more people that are interested, the less you're paying per click. The fewer people that are interested, I mean, you're not paying as much because no one's clicking on it, but every time someone does click on it, it's more expensive than it would be if more people were looking at it. You know what I mean? So it's like a scale. It's like a sliding scale, depending on that. So you want to make it relevant so people do click it. so that your cost per click goes down, and you get more people to see it for less money.
Yep.
Let's see what else we got. Forums. So forums are similar to groups.
Yeah, they're kind of. It's hard to say. Do you think they're dying off, or they're just like not? I mean, not dying off, but like they're just not as popular as they used to be.
Yeah, I think they're probably not as popular, but they're still around.
They're still around.
Some of them, I think it depends on the niche, as it were. What's more popular? Because I think in filmmaking, groups have surpassed forums.
Yeah.
There's a couple big forums like TVX User, Red User,
Creative Cow,
cinematography.net or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think in general,
yeah,
both in like user size and activity, I think groups kind of have surpassed.
Yeah, but forums are still handy. We've sold some stuff on forums, so they still have a big active user base.
Definitely, it's definitely worth going in there
because it's free. It doesn't. I mean, yeah, granted, if you want to advertise on it, that's usually through Google Ads or something else. But for the most part, to join a forum, it's kind of like we said about groups. Become an active member of that forum. Horror forums, stuff like that. We're sticking with our horror example. Become a member and talk and it was actually Jason Brubaker. He said that the filmmakers actually joined forums, not groups. And
right.
So, I mean, this was a couple years ago, but they joined forums of I think if I remember correctly, and you guys can go back and listen and then jump in the comments and tell me how wrong I am. I think it was about the Appalachian Trail, the hiking, or it was the right. Pacific Coast Trail. And they were going to hike it and film it and do a documentary on it. And so they went on there and onto these forums for backpacking and hiking and asked what equipment do I need? What about this? How about this? And yes, they were getting information on how they could not die on this hike, but also they were getting people to be involved from the get-go in their project. And those people bought the movie when it all was said and done.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to forums, honestly, I think the more specific the niche is, the more likely there's a forum for it.
Yeah. Red user is for red people. It's for people who use red cameras.
Yeah. So I think, versus Facebook groups, right? So there may be Facebook groups for people who are into painting rocks like animals or something, but I bet you there's a bigger forum for something like that.
Yeah.
Than there are Facebook groups.
Yeah, and I think what happens is a lot of times in Facebook groups, people join them just because it's easy to click and join, and then they forget about them, and so they're not as super active.
Yeah. And I think exactly. I think with Facebook, it really it's up to the group admin.
Yeah.
And how much they're active and they push it, and because it takes a lot of work to run a group.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people kind of set it and forget it, and so a lot of groups kind of fizzle.
Yeah.
Even if there's a ton of so there's a lot of filmmaking groups out there on Facebook.
Yep.
Filmmaking groups that have 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 people in them, but you go on and see that there's only been a couple posts in the past month, and they're all kind of spammy ads.
Yep. Exactly. And that could be true of forums too, because forums are, one thing that Facebook has going for it is people go to Facebook just to go to Facebook, and then, there's some information about my my group that I'm a member of. But for something like a forum, you have to go specifically to that forum for that specific reason. So I see the Frugal Filmmaker more often than I see Red User.
Definitely.
And maybe that's because we don't have a red camera, but I usually only go to Red User when we're trying to sell something.
Yeah.
I tend to go to Creative Cow a little bit more because it has tips and tricks and that was tips and tricks and all that stuff. So it's much easier to go and find out how to do something in Premiere.
Yeah, I honestly think that forums are a better resource in general. You'll get you find better questions, better answers on forums. Plus, an interesting thing is in forums, it's pretty standard for you to be able to have a signature line that can either be, on a lot of them, it can be an image or an animated banner.
Yeah.
So you could have your movie, as an animated banner clickable to your website or your movie page or your trailer or whatever. So every time you post, it's actually being populated with your ad
in a non-spammy way.
And
you should be posting a lot because, as we said, you got to be an active member.
Exactly.
Yep. So
there's that.
Yep.
Then we have ad buys and email blasts.
Yes.
By ad buys, I'm more specifically talking about like you contact a website specifically and say, I want to advertise on your site. I want to put a banner on the top, or I want to do like a site buyout where they change the background of the entire site.
IMDb does that a lot. If you notice, like Avengers, when it comes out, the whole website, banners, sidebars, the footer, everything's Avenger.
Yeah. And so that's a good way to get right in front of people. So, like, again, for horror, maybe we'd want to, like, reach out to Bloody Disgusting or something, or, like, you know, Fangoria or whatever, like, all these different places, and see how much it costs for, like, usually they charge monthly. Mm-hmm. It's not based on impressions. It's not based on that. So you can get a pretty good deal on stuff, you know. Maybe it's like $250 a month, and they get, you know, thousands or millions of views. And your thing's front and center on a really cool blog or something. So that's kind of a way to go. And then similarly with those companies, you can reach out to them and say, hey, do you have an email list of newsletters and stuff?
Yep.
Can you do a blast, you know, for me, sponsored email blast to your list? And a lot of them do that. And that also costs money, and it goes directly to people's emails. You know, depending on whether it's like the entire email is about your thing or it's like a little section of a multi-section email, you know, you're going to get different costs and stuff. You know, that's another way to go. Mm-hmm. And then also one thing that you'll see a lot on places like No Film School, sponsored posts where you actually write an article that's like a blog post, and they post it as if it's like their own blog post.
And they'll say sponsored on it.
They'll say sponsored on it and all that kind of stuff. But it looks like a blog post, and, you know.
Yeah. And there's also
pros and cons to all
there's
those
also gaining more and more traction is sponsored content. So you get people, I hate this word, Instagram influencers.
Sure.
Who will talk about your movie or do something about your movie. You see a lot more with like energy drinks or supplements and all that.
Yeah. Or like birth control.
Yeah. And there's also, you know, and so birth control. Got this baby because I didn't use this birth control ad, #ad. That will, you know, they'll do sponsored content. And what's also very popular, and it's almost like fun and free publicity, is there's been a lot of publicity stunts that are to advertise movies. The one that pops off my head that I just looked up right now, I don't know if Alex remembers this, but a couple years ago when Carrie remake was coming out, they did this really weird publicity stunt. And now granted, this was like, you know, MGM and Screen Gems, so they had a lot of money to put behind it. But you could do something like this on a lower scale. They did a telekinetic coffee shop surprise. So this girl was sitting at a table, and then she was pulled to the wall and then slid up the wall while people were there. Yeah. And they put the video online, and the video garnered so much attention. Everyone thought it was just like a cool, like
a hidden camera show,
or something like that. And then it turned out it was an ad for Carrie. But that ad video got so much ad revenue from being on YouTube, but also at the same time, it was word of mouth advertising for this movie. Now, again, like I said, it was for Carrie. It had a bunch of money behind it that they could do it because it involved, like, you know, taking a wall down and rebuilding it at a coffee shop. But that's another thing. Think about, like, you know, doing some viral videos that don't cost you much money, but could potentially be spread virally without you paying anything for it, that could then lead people to your movie.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next,
just getting through this.
Let's talk about list building.
Okay, let's do it.
Now, this is kind of like a boring aspect of marketing.
Yeah, but important.
So you've seen it. You're on people's lists. You get the emails, guys. You do. It's so
don't deny it.
Every time you go to, like, let's say Premium Beat, and they're like, you see a blog post that's like about how to color correct your film, and then like a pop-up pops up that says, hey, download our 5 free LUTs. And then you're like, awesome. And then you put your email address in, and you download them, and now every day you get like an email from Premium Beat. That's list building.
That's list building. And it's big business.
Oh man, it's great. I mean, it's one of those things. It's the best way to take control of your audience, because we've talked about social media.
Yep.
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all these places, right? You can build up your followers, you can build up your views, your subscribers, and all that, but that can go away instantly, as we've seen with Vine.
Yep.
Snapchat is kind of dying, I feel. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old for it.
Yeah, okay, old man. Snapchat forever. What is Snapchat?
Yeah.
TikTok,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Musically or whatever.
Yeah.
All these things, MySpace obviously just face planted. But
yeah,
they can go away and you lose all of those subscribers. Plus, you're not really, as we know, since we manage Larry's YouTube account, those subscribers, they're not really all seeing your stuff.
They're just kind of, especially if they are subscribed to tons of stuff.
Especially, yeah, exactly. And also YouTube constantly, and all of them, they change their rules. So it used to be that subscribers would get fed your stuff on their main page. Then it was like, okay, they might get it. If they want to get it, they have to click the little bell.
Yeah.
To get notifications. But then now it's like they can click the bell and still not get your stuff in their feed. It's like you have no control over it,
it's
right?
the dumbest thing in the world.
And so with emails, it's kind of the best because it's really a direct connection to people. Like, people always check emails, and yes, they might have like a junk email account, or they might eventually change emails,
or tell you to stop emailing,
or tell you to, or like unsubscribe,
or tell you to stop emailing them.
Yeah. So that's all true, but for the most part, it's the best way to have sort of a direct connection to your audience.
Yep.
That you can have more control over, and really, one of the best things about it is, so with all these email platforms, you get statistics and analytics, and you can see who's opening it, who's not.
Yeah.
You can see who's clicking on your links, and all that kind of stuff. So then you can like adjust and say, okay, this time we only had like 10% of people open the email, so we're going to try to make like a snazzier subject line.
Super snazzy.
And so you do it next time, and you're like, okay, I got 26% to open it this time. That's good. And then you just kind of like, you're learning from that. You're actually seeing how engaged people are, and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty good. Yeah.
And you think, you might think, oh, it's dumb, whatever. Keep in mind that companies, I don't want to blast out company names, but like blogs, like film specific blogs, they will charge how much?
Like a lot.
I'm talking about, how much do they charge? 15?
Yeah, $15,000.
$15,000 for you to send one email to their email list.
Yeah.
So this is big business because they know that email lists work. So, yeah, if you really wanted to, you could spend $15,000 and hit up companies that already built theirs, but you could build your own.
Yeah.
And, build it from your Facebook ads and your clicks, build it from your Google clicks, build it from your forums. And then, you'll get people who say, please take me off, they'll unsubscribe, stuff like that, but you're still getting a base of people that are interested in the same things you're producing.
Yeah.
And it's great.
We're not going to sit here and like talk about all the different list building.
No.
There's so much stuff about that.
That's a whole different thing.
Definitely look for that in Google and in YouTube, and you can see all sorts of different tools and videos for that. Mm-hmm. But I think just talking about a couple key tactics, so as we don't try to like dig ourselves into too big of a pit here
and start talking for the next 3 hours.
One big one is contests.
Yes.
So there's platforms out there like, I think King Sumo is one.
Okay.
Gleam.io. Mm-hmm. What's another one? UpViral.
Yep.
So basically, you create contests that are viral contests where the participants can enter by entering their email address, but then it takes them to a page where they can do all these other actions, like watch a video.
Yeah.
Or they can
watch a video,
subscribe to your podcast, or like your Facebook page, like your Instagram page, all this stuff. So like they get extra points, extra entries, as it were, into the contest or a giveaway or whatever.
So they feel that it's worth giving their email address because it's not just like, oh, I'm going to get bombarded by spam. It's, oh, I can win something.
Yeah, you can win something. And by doing the extra actions that will give you things like video views and like subscribers and stuff, they can get extra entries and improve their chances of winning. And you don't even have to give away like really expensive stuff. Like Trevor and I have done it. We've done it with books. We've done it with small little aperture lights. Yeah.
And
we've done it with...
they're not that expensive, but like, again, people are charging $15,000 for their email list. Yeah. So like a $20 light isn't the end of the world when you're going to get 300 people on an email list that could potentially buy your movie for $10. There you go. That $20 turns into possibly $3,000.
Yeah. And you can get a lot of people that way. And, you know, it's kind of viral. It works itself, but you still have to promote your contest. So that's another thing. The other sort of tactic is freebies, like I mentioned with the Premium Beat example.
Yeah.
They give away the LUTs and stuff. If you have something to give away that's connected to your film, you know, that's a good way to go. That people actually might want is crucial. Like, if nobody wants it, then obviously it's not going to do you any good.
Hell, if you have an actor that's kind of a name, you can auction off a personalized message from that actor. Actors are kind of cool with like giving out these freebies and like because it helps build their brand too. Be like, hey, this person will send a video message to you saying, hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah.
And that one, I mean, that even like takes way more work. I'm thinking more like a one-off thing that you could you just make it once and then whenever someone signs up, they just get it. Like it's like a digital download or like a PDF or something.
We've done that too.
We've done that. That's good. So that's kind of like a standard way to go about list building.
Yeah. I mean, that's and again, don't underestimate the power of email. It does a great thing, and the time you spend list building, which isn't that much time when you think about it. If you build the contest, you build the freebies, it's kind of automated. Yeah. And it'll steamroll. People tell themselves like, hey, I got this free freebie for this. You should do it too.
Yeah.
You'll get the people.
And another thing that we didn't mention here that's kind of falls under, gosh, I don't even know what it falls under, but like Patreon or like the Patreon type model is something that could be good for list building. So if you made a list where the people on the list would get emails that are like exclusive updates and like cool video files, like Trevor was saying, from the cast members, and like exclusive podcast episodes or whatever. It's like you get all this stuff just by being a subscriber to the newsletter.
Maybe you do some behind the scenes, but you have a behind the scenes exclusively for people who signed up. You put your behind the scenes on YouTube, but there's one that they need a special link to.
Essentially, everything that you could do with Patreon, you could do with like a newsletter.
Yeah, exactly.
And build up your email list.
Get that money, and get that audience, which is huge. So, do we want to talk about crystals, or do we want to move on from that?
Well, crystals are the biggest part of New Age marketing.
Yeah,
they carry the energy of your dreams
and the souls of your enemies. Yeah. So don't forget about crystals. So now we're on to Guerrilla. Guerrilla.
Guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, guerrilla marketing. This is kind of like the bread and butter of no-budget filmmaking, because this is just about doing the stuff
grassroots.
Yeah, grassroots. Bernie Sanders for president kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the cheapest way that you can get people to possibly buy your movie. And one of that is movie reviews. Give access to your movie early to websites that are popular. They need content. They need to write up stuff. So if you give it to access to 5 movie review sites, Slash Film, Ain't It Cool News, Joe Blow, what was the one I just... Screen Rant. All these kind of places. They need content. And you know what's better than them coming up with original ideas and having to come up with original ideas that they have to write about and research? A movie review.
Sure.
And they'll do it.
And it's the same, not just with blogs, but YouTubers. So send it to YouTubers or Instagram people and say, hey, got a screener for my movie. Check it out and give us your review or whatever.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
Obviously, these efforts of yours are going to be met with some no's and some non-responses. And so you're going to have to, sort of figure out the best way to go about it to get the best results. But
be smooth.
And so, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff falls under the Guerrilla, because you could release, like, cool clips to, again, blogs and stuff. So, like, for example, if you use some kind of, like, crazy technique or, like, lighting thing setup, or, like, you mounted the camera in a weird way to something, and you took pictures of it and behind-the-scenes video, and you send it to Slash Film or to, like, to No Budget, or not No Budget, No Film School.
Yeah, send it to us.
And do kind of like a press release, like traditional type outreach to contributors, then you could get your movie featured that way.
Yeah, and if you're a visitor of Joe Blow and Slash Film, you'll see, like, oh my God, this crazy clip from, they'll release clips for movies that are about to come out. It's like, this crazy clip from this movie, check it out. It's not a review, it's not anything. It's like, oh my gosh, I love the technique, or something like that. Yeah. It's just a small little snippet of something that you think is cool in your movie. They'll put it up. If you have a website that has a lot of traffic and that you really like, give them an exclusive clip. Give them a clip that they can't, and they will definitely put that up. If you say, I'm only sending you this clip, they'll be like, what are you talking about? Like, they won't say that. They'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, yes. And they'll say, exclusive clip from Trevor and Alex's horror movie.
Yeah. And I mean,
they won't say, what are you talking about? They'll be like, oh yeah, I'll take it.
I think when we have shared stuff in the past, some of that stuff has gotten the best response and, like, most shares. One in particular, I mean, obviously it's a huge movie and everyone was, like, buzzing about it, but there was an article about how Blade Runner 2049 was lit.
Yes, and all the array of Ari tungstens.
Yeah, and, like, the weird sort of, like, light setups that he did. So,
of course, it's Roger Deakins, so anything that says Roger Deakins, you get
people,
the film nerds
people love
like,
that.
What?
But extremely shareable in those communities when you can do kind of cool stuff and whatnot. So, again, it's about kind of creating a story, creating the shareability. Like, why would people want to see this, and why would they want to tell other people about this? Those are important things to keep in mind. And
kind of getting the behind the scenes, let people feel like they are like getting a behind the scenes and kind of exclusive look at the filmmaking process. You're going to get a lot of filmmakers that are like, oh damn! I just sent Alex an article today about the way they shot the Mandalorian for Star Wars, and shit like that. And it's just cool. I mean, granted, the people that are really into that are exclusive to filmmaking nerds like us, but still, you're going to find somebody who may be interested, not to give anything away. They use, like, they're called, what are they called? Why am I forgetting this? The room it's a specific kind of room, and it uses, like, AR, so that they can live track, like, VR, the CGI in real time with, like, virtual cameras.
Yeah.
And so you might find somebody who's not a huge filmmaker but loves that kind of thing in terms of, like, VR or computers, that will get somebody that you wouldn't necessarily expect to start following your movie because they just love the behind-the-scenes look.
Yeah. And, both of those examples were, like, huge budget.
Yeah, of course.
But, like, a more no-budget example, take a look at, like, what Noam Kroll does. He's an interesting guy. He's got a blog and a podcast. You should check him out. He just made a movie called White Crow, and he got his movie featured on different blogs by writing articles that had subject lines like, or headlines like, how I shot my, low budget or no budget feature on an Alexa or something like that. Or, like, I think he shot the whole movie in 9 days. So, like, how I shot a feature film in 9 days. Yeah. And it's sort of like an explanation of how he, went about doing that and planning it and all the logistics and stuff. So it's, like, informative and related to his project. So, I mean, I've heard so much about it now. I'm excited to see his movie.
Which one was that?
It's called White Crow. Well, so there's another movie called White Crow that's coming out, so he's actually changing it, I think.
What's he changing it to?
Don't know yet.
I don't see it, White Crow on his IMDb, so I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know what he's changing it to.
Okay. Just to let
It's not done yet, I don't think. It's in post.
Gotcha. So just to let people know, that it's called The Volume. Those rooms are called The Volume.
Oh, yeah.
They're like white rooms with cameras all around.
Padded rooms.
Yeah, padded rooms with lighting grids and all that, and it's kind of like what Zemeckis did on Beowulf. Kind of idea, but that's, I mean, for me, a computer and film nerd, that kind of stuff I love. So yeah, and then I mean, there's also podcast interviews. Yeah, get out there, market yourself as well. I mean, it's not so much as marketing your movie as it's marketing yourself as well.
Yeah, I mean, we got hit up today from a guy named Nathan.
Yeah,
what up, Nathan?
What up, Nathan?
Who said that he asked if we ever have like guests on the show, and if he could like pitch himself as a guest, and that's awesome. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, we get sidetracked with all of our other things.
Yeah,
but
we're terrible at planning.
We have a lot of interviews set up for people that want to interview to talk about their projects.
We have a list of people.
Those projects may be long and gone, and we may have missed a chance. But again, the people that you're reaching out to, that is, I don't want to say free advertising, but advertising, they need content. Yeah. You need to get your movie out there. So it's a win-win situation for both of you. Yeah,
and I'll say straight up, at least when it comes to us, like I'm just going to open this door.
Yeah.
It pays to be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
You know? Like we had our boy Zeph. Our boy Zeph came on the show.
Yeah.
Partly because he was like, "Hey, I'm flying out to LA. When can I come?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Yeah. Definitely come."
And where did that lead to? Us in Vegas going to a premiere of his movie.
Yeah,
and drinking. So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. Me and Alex were always kind of tiptoeing around it and all that. And when it came to this meeting that we're setting up, this is just an example of like how this could work in every aspect. When it came to this meeting that we set up, we kind of just looked at each other and just said, you know what? No more like, to lack of a better term, pussyfooting around it. No more tiptoeing around it. We said, you know what? We're just going to go to people, send an email, call somebody, send a text, say, hey, we're making movies. We're looking for money. Do you know anybody who has any? Do you want to invest any? Nope. Okay, next. And that's what you got to do.
Yep.
You just got to be aggressive and just say, you know what? I have a movie. You have a podcast. I like your podcast. Listen to a couple episodes or two, or lie and say you listen to a couple episodes and say, I really like it. I'd love to come on and talk about my movie. They'll probably say yes if it's a podcast by two nerds in Hawthorne, California that just are doing podcasts for the hell of it.
But not only that, you got to like keep emailing. So like even if they say yes,
persistence.
Say great. When can we schedule that? And then they don't email or message back. And then you say, hey, just following up on this, I'd like to schedule this. Are you available this week? You got to keep at it because, like we said, it's not that we're so busy. It is kind of, but it's just that we haven't figured out the system enough to like schedule when we're going to do these ahead of time so that we can get the guests to come in.
And we may lose their email in the mix of things and forget to message them, but then they email us again. And it's like, oh, yeah, no. And then what you can also do is, if you're persistent enough, you can say, can we lock down a time right now?
Exactly.
Or say, like, does this Friday work? Because if somebody came to emailed us, is like, hey, I really want to be on it, we're like, great, let's do it. And then a week later, like, hey, any update on this? I'd really like to do it. Can you do it this Friday? We'll probably more than likely say, hey, no, we can't do this Friday. We tend to do it on Thursdays. Oh, my God, we just scheduled it. You're on. Boom, to boom.
Yep.
And so if you're persistent when it comes to podcasts, you will be rewarded with free publicity, and they will get rewarded with content.
Exactly.
Yes. There's also... Now, here's a story about guerrilla marketing that I just love. Mostly because I love Werner Herzog. He is the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, in so many ways.
In so many ways. And he just recently came out and said that pirating movies is the best form of distribution that has ever been created.
Yeah.
And piggybacking on that, Alex had told me an article a couple years ago that said that movies that put themselves up on torrent sites If those who don't know, torrent sites is kind of a way to kind of anonymously download files. But it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time used for piracy. It came out as just a file transfer for business, but then it was used for more nefarious things.
Yes.
But there's sites that like link to torrent files of movies and all that. How I know that, I don't know. But they did a study and said that movies that put themselves up on torrenting sites. So like we'd put Alex and Trevor's horror movie up on a torrent site. They tend to get better sales. Because people who torrent them want to watch it without spending money, and if they like it and they like the people who did it, they'll support them.
Not only that, but what ends up happening is
they get arrested by police and they're forced to pay restitution.
Yes. Those people watch it, Yeah. Because there's no barrier of entry.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it, right?
Exactly.
They watch it. Then they tell their friends who have more of a stronger moral
compass
or
a lack of computer knowledge.
Yeah. That don't. So it's like word of mouth.
Yeah.
To people who aren't going to torrent it.
Exactly.
Who will be like, oh, cool. That does sound cool. I'll check that out. And it just kind of like helps spread the word.
Yeah. I think I met somebody. I knew somebody who torrented Mandy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I got to see that now.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other movies that like sometimes you can't find them anywhere else. Except for one place, and you didn't know about it because you don't use that as your main movie place. And you're like, oh, all right. Well, I didn't hear about this. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's actually, they think that by you putting it up, or as Werner would say, pirating movies actually increases sales and interest in your film.
Yeah.
You want to tell me your AdFly story as a way of guerrilla marketing? This one's genius. I tell this to everyone, and maybe I shouldn't. Alex may be embarrassed, but
I don't think it works anymore.
It probably doesn't, but this is just absolute genius.
It's not even really that. It's not even useful, really, is the thing. But I realized IMDb star meters are based on how many times new people come and look at your profile. Mm-hmm. So if you just and it doesn't even have to be a lot because,
it's more like how frequently they're visiting it at that time too. So if you have like 2,000 people visit your site in a day, that's better than 2,000 people visiting your site in 5 days.
Right.
Or that's actually better. Sorry, 2,000 people in a day is better than 5,000 people over the course of a week because it's like, oh, you're hot now. You're hot.
Yeah, exactly. So, what I did was there used to be a thing. I don't even know if it exists anymore. There was a thing called AdFly.
I think it still does. I'm sure it does.
That basically puts any page that you want. So when someone clicks on a link, you've probably seen these types of ads.
Uh-huh.
It makes a full screen pop up that lasts. It has like a countdown.
Yep.
And it'll say like, skip this ad in like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll show whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
An entire web page for 10 seconds. And then they can click to skip. And I think what they even did was like they would do that and it would pop up. It would be like a pop under.
Yeah.
So there's like pop-ups that pop over your screen. And then there's pop-unders that create a new tab or a new window.
No, what AdFly would do is say you're clicking on a link, it would take you to a landing page before it would then continue to the site.
Yes,
so,
but I think they also do pop unders, which are even more like
they don't pop up immediately in front of you, so they're behind.
So if you have like a window, it'll create a new window that's under the window that you're looking at, so you won't even necessarily know that it's there.
Yeah.
And what that does is create like more watch time or like viewing time of your page. So anyway, I put my IMDb page on this. I spent like $10 or something.
This is so good.
And got thousands of views of my IMDb page. And I went from like in the millions on Star Meter to 1,000.
1,000, guys.
Like I have this huge spike in my graph to where I got to like the 1,000 mark just from doing that. And it was pretty crazy. I mean, obviously it doesn't really mean anything.
No, it doesn't, but it was pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what that has, what value that gives you. I do know that in a similar realm, when it comes to Reddit,
yeah,
people used to do when Reddit. I don't know if this is still how Reddit works, but they used to Reddit posts used to be based on how many people upvote your post in like the first hour or something.
Yeah.
Right? Would be like, oh, it gets to that like top level. And so people would share their videos on Reddit, and then they would blast out all their friends, or like have all these maybe fake accounts, I don't know. And they would upvote the video, and it would get like hundreds of upvotes.
And then it'd be the hottest thing.
In like 15 minutes. And then it would get sent to the front page of Reddit, and then it would get like shared all over the place.
You'll see so many people just be like, oh my God, I can't believe I made the front page of Reddit, because it's such a big deal in terms of getting people to look at what you posted.
Yeah. Now, that crap won't work if your video sucks.
Yeah.
And no one wants to share it. They'll be like, what is this garbage? But if it's a good video,
yeah,
and you do something like that, and it gets to the front page of Reddit, then, off to the races.
And I don't know if that does that anymore.
Probably not.
I can't tell.
But,
Reddit would be smarter if they changed that.
Yeah. But it's something to make note of and to keep up on. I know it's a lot. You're already like trying to make movies and raise money and all that stuff. But if you can,
never ends.
Try to keep up on sort of like the latest marketing stuff and like what people are doing, because I mean, man, I remember even back in the day, there were tools that came out for Facebook where you could scrape people's Facebook IDs, right?
Yeah.
So like you would go to a group of, let's say I had like 1 million, or not a group, like a page.
Okay.
So let's say you made a movie about
Alex and Trevor's horror page.
Okay, yes. And let's say Alex and Trevor's horror page has 1 million followers.
Followers, yep.
Or whatever they are. Likers.
Likers, yikers.
You could scrape all those people's user IDs.
Yeah.
And then when you go to make a page for yourself, so then we're going to make like Alex and Trevor's indie movie horror page.
Yeah.
We're starting it. We can take those 1 million user IDs and load them into the invite function of Facebook. And you could invite all those people to your page to like it. Now, that didn't last very long.
I wonder why.
Facebook caught on very quickly and was like, nope. But for the...
Denied.
It had to have lasted like a year at least.
I think it was that sounds about right. Or maybe a year since when you first discovered it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's always things like that pop up, like the Reddit thing. And if you are kind of like aware of it and keep a lookout for stuff like that, you can sort of capitalize on that type of stuff.
Gaming the system, but not really.
Growth hacking,
as it were. Wow. Growth hacking.
Yeah.
I think the final thing is what
tools?
What tools do we have?
Trevor. Yeah. Trevor's the biggest tool. So
fuck you.
I was gonna do a whole bunch of tools. And
that's gonna be another 3 hours.
There's just so many of them. So again, if you're like interested in link building, look up some link building tools. If you're interested in like Facebook ads, there's a ton of Facebook ads tools that help you like optimize your Facebook ads and stuff.
Yeah.
So I would just go out there and do a little research, check out some like internet marketing and like different types of blogs that have to do with like creating ads or like list building or audience building and stuff like that.
And if you're super interested and want a little bit more, just hit us up in the comments section or over at Fearless Filmmakers. We will answer questions if you have them.
Sure.
We're not going to give you a list of 30 of them, but at the same time, we'll help you out if you're looking for some. We're not going to leave you high and dry, but it could be a lengthy discussion.
Yep.
Yeah. And
plus, there's so many of them. It's kind of personal preference. There's just a lot.
It's whatever one you like to use, whatever one you think is, I guess you could say, more successful. Is for what you need. What is it? Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
So we don't want to say one is better than the other.
I think we got to wrap this up because we're going to go long.
Oh,
baby.
God, are we? We've been going short for so long. Now we're going to go long. All right, let's do the fun part.
We're already at an hour 20.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry. All right, so what do you got, Alex? What's
cool?
Yep.
Lacey announced an 8 terabyte rugged RAID shuttle drive, which I'm guessing a lot of you guys know the Lacey rugged drives. They're those like silver and orange ones with like the rubber thing around them. Mm-hmm. You know them. Yeah. So they just announced an 8 terabyte.
Yeah.
Man, crazy. It's a RAID with RAID. Thunderbolt 3, USB-C.
So they used to, like when you got into the 8 terabytes, it used to be like 2 drives stacked together. That's why they were always thick. Like the old school G drives were double stacked.
Yeah. This one looks double wide almost.
So it may be 2 drives?
It may be 2 drives. It almost looks like the size of like the solid state drives. Like they're kind of smaller.
Okay.
Side by side.
Okay. All right. So they still haven't perfected a single drive that's 8. I mean, they have, but not for a rugged. Okay.
But, it's what I like about it. So unlike a lot of our other bigger ones, it is still a portable drive, and then it's powered by the cord that transfers the data.
That is fantastic.
I just despise drives that you have to plug in.
Yeah.
It's like my nightmare. It really is.
This is my nightmare.
I do too. That's awesome. It transfers files at 250 megabytes a second.
Nice.
And it's shock, dust, and water resistant. And it's $529.99.
That's not bad. It's not a bad price for 8 terabytes.
It's not bad, and it's being released in May.
All right. So I got something that's kind of convoluted, but if you're in the industry, it's kind of big news, especially if you're a writer. The writers, the WGA, is now suing agents for issues with packaging. This has been coming for a while. They thought they were going to come up with an agreement, but the agencies have kind of held pat, and the writers are like, oh, hell no. For those who don't know what packaging is and what the issue with it is, definitely check out the link in our show notes, but in the lamest terms I can say, or the easiest terms, it's basically where agents are no longer taking their commission fee, but instead are making themselves producers and also getting points on the project, which in turn gives them more money and screws out the writers. The agents will be like, well, I'm going to give you back my 5% commission, but I'm going to get 10% on all the profit this show that you created ever makes. And so they're screwing writers out. And a lot of times writers don't even know they're doing this. They just say, oh, I'm going to give you 5%, give you your 5% back. And people are like, oh, that's great. That's great.
Exactly.
Or your 5 or your 10, whatever you have with your agent. So writers have now said that they couldn't get basically the agencies to stop doing this. So they're suing them for, if I remember correctly, I forget the official term. It's not breach of contract, but it's failure to represent or something like that.
Because I think
breach of duty.
Because agents have a fiduciary duty.
Yes, to find the best deal for their clients. Yeah. And one of the biggest stories from it is who wrote The Wire?
That guy, The Wire guy.
Yeah, The Wire guy. David Simon came out and said that he was selling his book Homicide, about Baltimore cops in the homicide department, and he was selling it to be made into Homicide: Life on the Streets. And they were going to this big-name TV director and going back and forth, and they gave an offer that the TV director said, and he said, well, that's a little low. I'd like to go back for more. And they're like, well, this might be the best offer you get. Don't screw it up. He's like, well, all right, no, I want more. And they went back, and then later he found out that they also represented him, so they were just battling each other. They were just like...
So it's a conflict of interest.
Total conflict of interest. And that kind of like... is like the best definition of what is going on. But definitely check out the link in our show notes for a great video that the WGA put together to show you how they feel that agents are screwing writers. But they're so pissed off they're now suing the agencies.
Cray.
What else you got, Alex?
Some of you may know about a little collaborative platform called F-Track. It's kind of like a creative project management tool specifically for video and media and stuff like that. It's extremely popular, especially with effects houses and stuff like that, for getting notes and sharing files and stuff like that. But it's always been kind of, it's for like studios and for larger companies. And now F-Track has created a platform called F-Track Review, which is a little bit less money. It's actually half as much money with an annual subscription.
Okay.
And it allows you to collaborate with people on your projects. You can do like the whole commenting thing. You can like draw on the screen, point to things, upload stuff, and do that whole like collaborative thing remotely.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do like watch downs right over someone's shoulder. You can watch it at your leisure, and do that. And I think it's $15 a month.
It's not bad. It's not bad. There's other options out there like Whipster and all that, but that's still pretty good. I actually was going to throw something in there about another company buying something that was like F-Track, but all right, good deal. I think Post Haste bought somebody that does collaborative editing through. Yeah. But okay, not bad. I mean, I always like a price cut, so I'll take it.
Not bad.
I'll take it. So I've got the apertures, two new things. One is still in the kind of experimental concept phase. They haven't perfected it yet. And one is something that Alex and I have been waiting forever for. Forever. Yeah. So first off...
So much so that we contemplated like trying to make it ourselves.
Yeah.
Or like have it made.
Yeah.
But man, I'm glad someone else made it.
Thank God. Somebody who already has like experience in building things.
Yeah.
Aperture. We'll start with what's actually going to come out and be a physical product you can buy sooner rather than later. Aperture's RC LED light.
Yeah.
Guys, it is a screw-in full color spectrum light bulb that can be...
Yeah, it's like a smart bulb,
it's like a smart
made
bulb
for video.
For practical. So you replace your practicals and you have full range of color control, and it's color accurate.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I've been doing this for quite some time.
Look at me, humble brag.
Using the smart bulbs for like cinematography. Mm-hmm. And it has had a lot of big drawbacks.
Okay.
One being it's not super accurate, but when it comes to using colors, like if you're using like party colors and stuff, fine.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is there was always you had to be at a certain shutter angle, otherwise you would get banding. Yeah. And if you tried to dim, you could get banding and stuff like that. So that's a huge problem with video. And so it kind of ruined some stuff when we lent them out to certain people.
Yeah.
And not great. So these bulbs don't do that. They're flicker free, banding free, all that.
At any speed.
Yeah.
And they are color accurate.
You can dim them to your heart's content.
They are controlled by an app on your phone. They have what is called the matrix connection, so you can mesh net, so you can kind of do them, all in a row. You have access to all the lights in the mesh. But more importantly, this is really cool. Screws into a normal light socket.
Yeah.
But you can come out of the light socket with a built-in battery.
That is cool. And the reason I like that...
Oh, I love that.
Well, there's a lot of reasons I like that. But the biggest reason that is like one of the coolest things...
Yeah.
...is that now, guys, think about this.
Think about it.
You don't... Like, your lamps don't have to be plugged in. So you don't have to worry about running cables and, like, having ugly, like, cable runs. You could literally, like, bring a practical, clip off the plug so it just sits there pretty like it does in the ads.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about running weird cables all over the place.
I recommend running your cable somewhere off camera so it looks like it's plugged in, so someone isn't like, where does that plug in?
No. Why? It's the future.
It's the future, wireless power. But yes, so we're super excited about these. We're so excited we're probably going to buy a couple when they come out.
I'm buying at least 6 because I have these...
No, you're gonna replace them?
Yeah, I have these Lowell lights. They're called the L light.
Oh.
That use regular Edison sockets. Mm-hmm. And they have cool little mounting options and whatnot. I bought a little kit of them, and I've been using these smart bulbs with them, but now I'm going to toss those out. No, not really. I'll probably use them in my house. But then replace them with these apertures.
I fully support buying 6 of them. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, let's do it. And then also apertures. Now, this is still in development. It's kind of a concept. They do have kind of a working model. It's not super accurate. It's called the color picker. And this is really cool. They had this technology in like a pen that had RGB.
Yeah.
And so what it does is you can go and spot a color, scan it with the color picker, and then it will be able to, the goal is for it to be able to come into aperture lights and recreate that color with their RGBW lights, which is awesome.
But right now, you can point the app at things, right?
Yeah. Yep. But they want this to be a standalone, like,
device
carry around and everything.
Yeah.
So that is super cool. We'll see how long this comes up to come to fruition. But I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. The bulbs, I believe, are about $60 a piece.
Oh, that's right. I did not include price. Sorry, guys, my bad. But $60 a piece. Yep.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Did we talk about last time the Aperture Amaran MC?
Actually, we did, which is why I brought this up, because our boy Mitch Fotz, he was the one who talked about all these other things.
Yeah.
And so that's why we made sure to talk about the RC LED light, because we're most excited about that.
Super stoked about that. Definitely getting those.
Yep.
I'm also pretty stoked about the other ones, the Aperture Amaran MCs.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think we talked about the MCs. I think we talked about their big beefy.
The Light Storm.
Yeah, the Light Storm. The MCs, though, they come with a charging briefcase.
Exactly, if you buy a certain amount. But the Aperture Amaran MCs are the full color spectrum version of like the M9 or the MX, which are really cool. And they use the same like mesh network, so they talk to each other. You can control them all simultaneously through an app,
and they have
like a little charge briefcase, and we're totally getting those.
Yep,
okay,
absolutely. That's how company decisions are made. What do you got, Alex? We got to wrap this up, man. We are just talking the ear out.
Okay.
All right, go.
PS Technovision 1.5 times anamorphic lenses. So these are some super schwanky lenses. PS Technic is a cool company. They make a lot of interesting stuff. Been around for a while. I believe like one of their first products, or at least the first time I knew about them, was back in the day when they made those like 35 millimeter adapter type things for like mini DV camcorders.
Nice.
But now they're making like really sweet lenses. So they have new stuff coming out that are anamorphic lenses made for 16 by 9 sensors.
Nice.
So if you don't have like the 4x3 sensors like an Alexa or whatever, these ones are for you.
Nice.
And they use like the full resolution of your camera and all that kind of stuff. And they have a whole prime set that includes 40 millimeter, 50, 75, 100, and 135.
Not bad.
And two different sets, or two different zooms. One is a 40 to 70 and then a 70 to 200. And they look pretty great.
Yeah. Expensive.
Expensive. So
expensive.
Each prime lens is $19,000. The zoom lenses are about 23 to 25 a piece. So, not cheap.
Not cheap, but you get what you
really
pay
cool.
for. You get what you pay for.
Technovision Classic, man, they look great. Like, I just like the way they look. The lenses themselves, they look like vintage, like Panavision lenses or something.
Yeah, they look sick. They did really good craftsmanship on those.
And the footage looks really good too. They posted up a little example on a Vericam LTE.
Give it to me. I'll take them.
Cool.
Somebody wants to support us by donating the money for those lenses. Yes, please.
Yes.
And I also have the Asus Dolby Vision HDR monitors. So Dolby has moved from just doing sound to doing kind of like high-end displays. High-end technology for displays. So what Dolby says is that they provide incredible brightness, contrast, color, and detail to bring entertainment to life. So these are 32-inch monitors, 4K backlit LED. Huh. They have uniform it's a more vivid image from the monitor. They are Thunderbolt 3.
Oh man. Yeah. I like that little foldy,
right?
The foldy flappy one.
The PQ22UC. It looks like a tablet, but it's just a little monitor.
You could like probably just throw that in your backpack, Ian, and be on your way with a dual monitor setup.
Now, here's the problem I have, and you know, granted, you know, as you're getting into more and more color correcting, like color correcting on this monitor, and it's not going to be displayed in Dolby Vision, is kind of like, oof.
Yeah.
You're going to be a little off. But in general, man alive, these things look sweet. And they include mini LED, not regular LEDs.
Well,
so more LEDs packed tighter. They are about half the size of a chip size of a regular LED.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you're going to get such good quality, like, images from this thing.
So it says that, from what I'm seeing here,
yeah,
it has Adobe RGB wide color gamut and true 10-bit color, which to me would suggest that you don't necessarily need to use any like proprietary Dolby Vision stuff. If you're like going to grade,
it's true. Yeah,
you could just hit your Adobe RGB. You could like calibrate it with a
for color correcting.
Yeah,
and grading, and then kick it back.
Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point. So the rumor is that the 32-inch monitor was going to go for about $3,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Never mind. Get out of here. I don't even want it.
I know. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
But I mean, pricey. But I mean, if you're doing a lot of color correcting, this might be a great monitor to go to.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's things are getting pricey. You know, it seems to be that our What's Cools get more and more expensive every episode because the cool stuff just gets better and better and better.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy. That sucks.
I know, doesn't it?
I bet the other one's gonna be at least 2,000.
Yeah, you think so? Because I mean, let me see. That one is 21 inches. So I'd say maybe 1,500. Maybe because it doesn't have everything else in it, but 1,500. But still,
yeah.
I wish we were rich. Too much cool stuff.
Just go for like the BenQ ones. You know, those are like $700.
That's true. That's true. And what
but
about
they're not 4K? Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they do have 4K. What about the what are they? Are they the Dell Dream Vision?
Oh yeah, or yeah. There's Dreamcolor.
Dreamcolor, there it is.
But there's also HP. I don't remember which one is Dreamcolor and which one is something else.
HP's Dreamcolor, and then Dell is Ultra Sharp.
Yeah.
Color laser printer. Get the hell out of here. Color monitor is going to be like, we now offer Ultra Sharps with Premier Color. Yeah. Ultra Sharps with Premier Color.
Yeah.
So,
there's options.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's see. The last one I have is My Road Reel 2019.
You guys should definitely check this out.
We always find out about these
yeah.
like weeks before they're due.
Like chumps.
Weeks.
Yep.
So now we're finally saying, look, it's happening. You don't have to submit until August.
Yes, no excuses now except for us because we're super busy.
End of August.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of time. Go check it out, road.com/myroadreel, and you can get all your like info on how to submit. You just need to make a 3-minute video.
This is awesome for two reasons, guys. One, it gives you an excuse to go out and shoot something. You should always be shooting something. We tend to not follow our own advice sometimes. We haven't shot stuff in a while.
Yeah, but these types of competitions are often what like get us off our butts to go make stuff because, you know, it gives us sort of like an actual hard deadline. Yeah,
and so if anything that happens, you still have something that you created. And on the other end, you could win some road stuff. You could win some gear to help kit yourself out and make a better project the next time.
Not just road stuff. They have a buttload of partners that have come in and are giving away stuff. So
I mean, you'd be dumb not to do it because it's free to enter. And man, let's talk about it. Let's see what we got here. I'll look at Ryan Connolly being a judge.
Yeah, Ryan Connolly's a judge. Let's see. Look at all these partners. Look at all these crazy partners.
All right, the major prize. Rode NTG3, Rode NTG4, Rode NTG5, NT55, Blimp, Lavs, News Kit, Shooter Kit, Filmmaker Kit, all these mics, Blackmagic Design Ursa Mini Pro G2. Man, we should enter this. Holy crap.
Yeah.
A Zhiyun Smooth 4, Crane 3 Lab, Crane 2, Crane Plus.
So many things.
Oh, my God.
A Move Cam Cold Shoe Block.
Yeah.
MZ full course subscription, Music Bed 1 year business subscription, sound effects, Rhino, which makes sliders, ultimate bundle.
Did you hear about
Whipster?
Did you mention the Movie Pro handheld bundle?
No.
That's $6,500 right there.
Free fly.
Yeah.
Red Giant Shooter Magic Bullet Suite.
The movie, sorry.
Film Convert, Cam Caddy.
Sigma Cine Lens, 20 millimeter.
GoPro Hero 7 Black.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
LumaCube. Man, all sorts of stuff. Adobe 12-month CC subscription. Joby.
Yeah, you're talking about a Razer MC 200
some LED
multicolor
lights.
LED lights. I mean, this is crazy, guys. You should absolutely do this.
Yeah, that's the judge's film.
Yeah,
But like, there's so many different. There's like best female filmmaker, best young filmmaker, People's Choice, best BTS, and then there's like genre prizes, right? So best action, best horror, best sci-fi, comedy, music video. Then there's technical prizes, best acting, cinematography, location, art directions, sound design, blah blah blah. Then there's regional prizes. If you're in a different country, they have prizes for you. Check them out. Pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah,
we're not sponsored, but I feel like we're talking about this as if we have some sort of part in this. We do not.
No, we do not. We're going to enter it. Step back.
Yeah.
Cool. But I mean, I think, I think maybe why don't we just do, we should do it and do it a short of our feature or brain scan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are we between the ages of 13 and 18?
We can be.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like I am.
My wife tells me all the time I am.
Yeah.
And then I sleep on the couch like a 13-year-old. So I guess that, let's do it. We're young filmmakers.
All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for joining us. You can get the show notes for this episode by visiting NoBudgetFilmmaking.com/episode 49.
And don't forget to hop on over to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast. While you are there, please give us a 5-star rating if you feel so inclined.
And if you have any filmmaking questions, ask away in the comments section and we'll try to answer them.
Also, don't forget to head on over to fearlessfilmmakers.com to join our growing community of filmmakers. Thanks so much, guys, and we'll talk to you next time.
Later.
Peace.